Hello everyone, Alex here. It's been a while. I'm out here in nature. As you can see, the berries are growing. These berries are actually they help your body fight cancer. There's some kind of berries that a lot of people do not know, but I just wanted to talk. Maybe, not maybe, but there could be somebody besides me that will watch this back. Um, Depression. That's a good topic to talk about. Um, it's like a heartache, like when you fully awaken and you see everyone around you disappear and truly listen to you, which a lot of people do not do, unfortunately, except for, myself and my therapist at this point. People, to fully understand or see someone, you have to shut the fuck up and not allow your brain to talk over you and that other person. And, I've been playing, virtual reality and trying to find the right people to talk to, and, it's a bit sad. It really is, because I found out that our happiness becomes crushed by what we truly do not enjoy. And we choose to do the things we don't enjoy because we want to be productive. And to be productive, it's a very hard job. It's a very hard thing because, connecting with people, for me, I'm an empath and I feel all these emotions, and I tend to analyze and carry them with me. But, I played IMVU and I've realized there are more people with redemption and greed than there are on Second Life. It depends, because there are always redemption and greedy people around, but I've realized that virtual reality it's the core of violation to who we really are, beyond the human self and the identity self, which is a behavioral thing, because it's ego. That's what, personality comes from. It's the ego self. And when someone is egotistical, they are very, very logical. They are very, very good at manipulating people, and maybe they do not mean it in a weaponized way, but they might be really good, useful to use right now, because they are a master attractor. You know, right now, this lady that is helping me, you know, get SSI benefits. You know, I need money. And I plan to invest into myself. And, you know, I come first before my family does. It has to happen that way. It will disappoint many people, but you know, I have to put me first before I can give back. I believe that is the hardest thing we can do for ourselves, because we're always thinking about family. And I know that my mother is probably not going to be happy if my mother is she's a great person. She's beautiful, and we have a good relationship. I'm lucky that I'm able to talk to my mom. I love her to death, but we have our disagreements. We have to set boundaries, which is just, it's hard because sometimes you wish you could tell some things to your own mother, but there are just some things that get rammed over with opinions. And, when opinions become in the way of being who we are, now it's all about the identity, the form of ego self. That's where opinion and duality comes from. That's where spirituality, duality and spirituality, it's very hard to explain something that is not supposed to be explained through words. I'll just leave it there, because to those who come to my channel and you find this video and you understand where I'm coming from, you'll know. You'll understand. Not understand, but you'll see, you'll feel exactly what I'm going through. It's like depression. It's a form of sorrow and loss. You feel unmotivated to do what you need to do to get there. And that's what I've been feeling this entire week, this whole week and all this, I'm not going to give up. I'm never going to give up, because life is too short to sit on your throne for too long. It's, you can't, the throne is just a chair right now, and if you sit on that chair will never become the throne. In order to transform the chair to a throne, you have to go through doorways before you can draw that path behind you to guide yourself to your sanctuary. You are your sanctuary, actually. And, oh, shit. Trusting people is very hard. Because you trust the process as you make progress. And trusting yourself that this works. And maybe it won't work, and we have to find another way that works for us. I don't want to be that person like everybody else that works a 9-to-5 job where I have to pay bills, I have to do this, I have to do that. I'd rather be someone that, has a house, but I find a way where I never really see bills ever. Bills only exist. If you have a phone, you'll get your bill. If you have if you live in the city, you have to do bills and stuff like that. But honestly, I always think about the tribes, the Native Americans, where their only resource was their knowledge. Money did not exist. Paper money is an illusion. It's only valuable to the society and the industrial world we live in, but it's completely useless. It does not value a thing to the real world. The real world is beyond the system of flaws that makes you work for money. I'm worth $200 billion, yes. I'll work smart for that, but not hard for that. If I work hard for that, I won't be, that successful. I'd be grinding way too much, sacrificing time that can become my money. I can't just sacrifice my own time and be a slave forever. I really can't do that. And in the start, it will have to be something, yes. To train my mind how to open up and accept different points and corners of the things that I would like to do and accomplish, like learning glass art, understanding stuff that not very many people really do that often. So, it's very hard. It's not an easy road, that's for sure. And people come and go. We thought, like, we try to take everyone with us, but we realize that some people, they don't want to go anywhere. They just want to stay the same. They don't want to go with you because they do not accept who they are. And it's the same with, the environment that we live in. We become the product of our own environment. And we live in a very idealistic world where everybody has their own opinion because we all go through different paths, different, experiences. So when you have a different experience, you might not have the same perspective as I do, and the other person that might, have that similar technique. So, yeah. It's very, very, sitting here in nature, it's easing my mind. This is why I try to go outside and, remind myself why it's important that we always surround ourselves with the earth, because too much video games, too much isolation, that's why anxiety becomes a breach of terror, while the illusion is your depression. Depression is the mind. You're not the mind, which doesn't make you depressed. It just makes you more unique. It may not make you motivated, because you're meant to regain yourself. You're not meant to do so much at once. You're meant to take action, but relax. Allow yourself to regain your authentic self. You're not injured. You're not broken. It's just accepting and understanding that, understanding your own truth. That everything is okay. I feel like I was going crazy, seriously. And I follow this guy called Kurt. He's a twin flame coach, and he calls it the weird energy shit, where your kundalini activates and all of a sudden you feel like you're going crazy. It's intense. It really is. It's the dark side of the soul. You really feel overwhelmed. You feel everything all at once. Anxiety and all this stuff. Your mind is detaching itself from the identity version of what you were And it takes time for you to get back up. And, you know, my plan is to focus on myself. Not to work right now, not to, get a job immediately, but it's to go back and be creative. It's to, move forward and be persistent, be productive, do what I love more than doing what I really hate the most. If there's someone watching this right now, and if, comment down below, share your story, where you're from, where you're at. Everybody can see your story, and just share your wisdom like I do right now in this video. The depression is really, it's like what Jim Carrey said. It's deep rest. You have to deep rest your body, regain regain yourself. Don't rush into anything. Don't do it too soon. You just gotta relax and just chill out. Sometimes you want to get a job right now, but you also have to realize maybe it's time that you just chill out. You did what you needed to do. You did what you could. Now just relax. That's all. And yeah, you just gotta do nothing, Do nothing but do, take action so you can do nothing. You have to take action to get to the next step in order to relax and do nothing. Meditate, regain yourself, do nothing. Trust the process. Take action to do nothing. And, I don't mean don't do anything at all. Like, where nothing really happens and you're still at the same fucking miserable, situation you're trying to get out of. I mean the nothing at all, meaning when you take action and you get your shit done just so you can do nothing, by regaining your self, your authenticity, and to relax after doing something. It's like what my mom said. You are your best friend. You have your back. You have to be honest with yourself all the time. Trust yourself so you can trust other people. Trust your gut when you know something is not for you. Learn to walk away more than allowing your emotions to take over. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have. You know, being able to come out here and just talk and not be around anyone at all. Complete noise disturbs my peace. It really does. Being surrounded by clutter is what imprisons your mind. Don't put your faith on one person. That's not just yourself, but pay attention. Some people might be there to guide you through what you must go to, but truth is, don't follow everything somebody tells you to do is the right thing for you. Make sure you're honest, because, well, this is the road to your destiny. If you end up lying to yourself, you're giving up. You're giving up hope that it will work. And you cannot obsess over tomorrow because it hasn't happened yet. This is how the society works. They worry about tomorrow. You know, it's good to, be one step ahead of everything, yeah. Like planning is what allows us to survive this society and be prepared, because, well, sometimes there are situations where we need to plan, and it helps us navigate through the tidal waves of the storm. The boat needs a direction, it needs a director, and ego becomes the navigator. Without ego, you weren't really able to create structure for yourself. Ego is not necessarily bad. It's only a piece of shit when you worship your own negativity to weaponize, to control, and manipulate the world around you. That's what narcissism is. Ego is not necessarily bad. Devil is not really bad. You just have to have the responsibility to transform the mind, master the mind, and be the master of your own world and your mind. To realize that you have full control of your own boat, but whatever is all around it, you do not need to control, because it is not your business. There's a lot of nosy people out there. That's why there's competition. That's why you see so many cars that look the same, because once they see, you know, Tesla making energy cars, everybody else makes energy cars. Once you see someone who wants to compete with Tesla, now they try to copy their design by making it look better with a different logo and a different name. People get nosy. They want to know your way. They want to learn your way, which is very good. But there's a difference between being nosy and wanting to learn. Being nosy is being envious. You do not want to learn what you know, but you still try to grasp enough information to steal it. People who weaponize ego sees knowledge as information. That's all. Information that doesn't stay in their heads very long. It just passes by like they never really existed. I feel like this is just not necessary for this topic. But yeah. Ego, too much ego kills you and burdens you alive. A little ego allows you to navigate and direct you to people, places, and situations in the right time. We just gotta take action. We gotta take action to make something happen in order to do nothing. You cannot take action to do nothing and expect something to happen. You have to take action to do something in order to do nothing. That's like the greatest quote I've made right now. Because, that's the truth. We all have to do something in order to do nothing. It's like what I said. To do nothing is to regain yourself. To do, too much laziness. You are distracting yourself with too much at once. And it's just not good for your mind. It's not good for your soul either. Your soul actually feels it. It experiences it. It doesn't break. It's just energy. But it does carry certain wounds that are not emotions at all. It's just a feeling of consciousness, which is who we are, beyond the identity self. Look at how beautiful this is. Fucking beautiful, man. gorgeous. Oh, this is like fucking gorgeous. So, yeah. Never give up. Even when you know you are worth it, never fucking give up. You might lose everything tomorrow. You feel like killing yourself after that, just to turn off the mind from talking so much. But the truth is, don't give up. Keep moving. That's what happened with me for 2 weeks. I kind of gave up. And it's good to kind of realize what give up means and feeling. When you feel like giving up, it's because of the amount of emotions and clutter that weighs your mind and your well-being down to the fucking ground. You feel so dead inside, as if nothing has happened. I will tell you this, that is your power. That is what power is. It is not a burden. You're not supposed to kill yourself when you wear down and you feel that weight. It's not exactly a weight, because once you see beyond illusion, you realize that you're in your own truth. The illusion of the brick wall is no longer there. It's like Morpheus from The Matrix. I'm gonna watch that movie again, where he guides Keanu Reeves to take the red pill or the blue pill, and Keanu Reeves takes the red pill, and he sees the real world, and there's really no reality either. It's just reality, and duality is both illusions. They're only meant to balance what is, not who you are. You're not identity. You're not the mind. You're not the devil. You're neither a god. You're a soul. You're consciousness. And yeah, that's the beauty of nature. Once we realize who we really are, life changes.
very dramatically. People fall out your life, they walk away, situations end, you know, places that you thought were going to last forever, you know, ends very quickly. So, yep. So, yeah. This is a very long video because, you know, it takes a very long process to share what we feel. And words do not define who we are. When someone tries to understand you, it means they can't really, there's a part of you that makes them very curious. You know, don't try to close up, but just be alert. Stay cautious. Sometimes you just never know. It's always good to stay cautious because you know, even though people might be there doing their jobs to get you to that point, well, they might not be people that you should trust the whole way. Because when you trust someone cold-heartedly, you're able to walk away a lot more simpler. You're not allowing yourself to get too attached to their kindness, to their, you know, I've learned this from plenty of narcissists, and it's now I understand why they do it. Use people to benefit yourself. You know, sometimes you do have to be that person too. It's a balance between realizing that you just cannot be too nice, you can't be too kind, you can't be too soft, you can't be too productive, can't be too innocent. That dog likes me, I already know. He goes crazy all the time. Hi, baby. Hello. So, but you also have to be kind. Be respectful. You know, those are the two things that you need to be, because if you're disrespectful and unkind, you're gonna lose the best, and you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it because karma knows how to do her job. You'll just get someone who is just like you, but they'll be a bigger bitch, and they'll be a moron. They won't be the best. They'll just be the worst. You don't give a fuck, they don't give a fuck either. It's better to have somebody that gives a fuck so they can put you to the best. And you deserve the best. And I tell this to myself when I do probably rewatch this. Do not be too much of a dick. And, you know, this goes for anyone else who might be struggling with depression and you just can't trust very many people either. There is that saying where you can't trust nobody, and that's true, but you have to trust somebody besides yourself. But yeah, it's the truth. Here's a cat. Magato. Hello. His name is Forrest. Magato, Tito. Here's a gato. A cat. There he is. So, do something so you can do nothing. Because that is the only way to be successful. I really needed to talk. I really needed to let this out because I was carrying onto something that just burdened, you know, it was a lot of weight. There was too much words, too much feelings, and nature eases our health, our mind, our body to relax. And the energy also communicates with the aura of the soul. The earth is a big giant soul. She is alive. And there is a cat. And that is Thunder. So, you know, that's it. You just gotta trust the path. You also gotta live the moment. Plan the future.
and allow the past to flow. Anyway, that's Thunder right there. She baby. She my gatita papa. She's my black and white cat. So, yeah. You know, pay attention to how people act, too. You know, that's why boundaries are good, because we have to learn not to say too much. Like, overword everything can also overcomplicate things for the other person to understand who we are. Our zodiac sign does connect with duality, but it does not matter to the soul. The soul can be anything in every other dimension, timeline, and journey. So, yeah. Be patient. Learn how to be persistent. That way you can be very productive in your work. Make sure you love what you do, so you can become confident in what you show to who you're trying to sell. You know, you don't want to sell your soul to the devil. You need the devil to sell your soul to the people that come to you. You are your own brand. You are not a puppet, a product made to be sold like a pawn in a game. Learn to listen before you talk. A lot of people will talk over you because they're allowing their own emotions and their own opinions to dictate your own, the way they see you, for how they think you are. I cannot change the way people think and how they believe life and death works, but you can't say a fact is an opinion, because the fact is a fact. We already are that. The opinion ends up saying, we are not that. We're this, and we're that. We're the identity, and we're also that tree over there. But it mixes spirituality with psychology and biology. That's an abomination right there. Even including politics, too much ego and too much spiritualism, it gets mixed up. But once you realize you already are that, you see through the illusion itself. Anyway, subscribe and follow. I need to rest and regain myself. Goodbye for now.